Good morning. I'm Rashan Gidwani, and you are watching the Daily Morning Note. It's Thursday, the 16th of February, 2023. Singapore shares sank for the third straight day this week following a mixed showing on Wall Street after mildly lower U.S. inflation data signaled that the Federal Reserve could stay on its path of elevated rates. The Straits Times Index fell 37.38 points, or 1.1%, to 3,280.82 on Wednesday. Wall Street stocks shrugged off early weakness on Wednesday, finishing with gains after a surprisingly strong January retail sales report. Sales bounced by 3% last month to 697 billion US dollars after 2 months of contraction following strong gains. 6 million dollars, with gross profit margin improving by 6.5 percentage points year on year to 28.5%. Singapore Airlines group-wide passenger load factor for January reached 86.9 points, up 46.9 points over the year earlier, as recovery continues from the pandemic. SIA as a group carried 2.6 million passengers that month, a slight dip of 2.7% over the preceding peak holiday season of December, but up fourfold over the year earlier. The privatization of Chip Eng will go through after the offerors secured 90.19% of the shares as of February 14th. With the 90% threshold crossed, the company's chairman cum controlling shareholder Celine Tang, who is making the offer with her husband Gordon Tang, can now exercise their right to acquire the remaining shares. Costco Shipping International is expecting to report a net loss in the financial year 2022 ended December, with a significant deterioration in profit during the year. The loss was due to a non-cash impairment of goodwill in connection with the group's investment in Cogent Holdings Private Limited, formerly known as Cogent Holdings Limited. The group will release its full results around March 1st. CSE Global warns that its earnings for the second half of financial year 2022 will be significantly lower versus both the year's earlier's $4.9 million and the preceding first half of financial year 2022's $4.5 million. The engineering company attributes the likely drop in earnings to restructuring costs of $1.3 million, where, among other issues, 2 projects were found to have suffered from cost overruns. Senyue Holdings is expecting to report a commendable net profit in the financial year of 2022 ended September 30th, 2022, reversing from its loss after tax of $5.5 million in the financial year of 2021. The group attributed the better performance to the improvement in its business performance as it progresses back to normalcy under the helm of its new management. The U.S. could become unable to pay all of its bills on time sometime between July and September, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimated, giving lawmakers several months to reach an agreement on lifting the debt limit and avoiding a default. The Treasury Department ran up against the roughly $31.4 trillion debt limit in January. It is now deploying a series of special accounting maneuvers to keep paying the government's obligations to bondholders, Social Security recipients, and others. U.S. retail sales jumped 3% in January, compared with expectations for a rise of 1.9%, as consumers broadly boosted spending on vehicles, furniture, clothing, and dining out, adding to signs that economic growth picked up at the start of the year. The unexpectedly strong January employment report and still solid wage gains bode well for consumer spending, and some economists think economic growth could be picking up. Tesla will halt some production at its Shanghai factory until the end of February as it upgrades the facility to start rolling out a revamped version of its Model 3 sedan in the competitive Chinese market. The plant has 2 phases for vehicle manufacturing, and some workers on the first phase won't be allowed on production lines from as soon as Sunday, as the work on improving them is undertaken. Apple has postponed a planned introduction of its first mixed reality headset from around April to June. According to people familiar with the matter, the iPhone maker is now aiming to unveil the product at its annual Worldwide Developers Conference. Barclays on Wednesday reported a full-year net profit of £5.023 billion for 2022, beating consensus expectations of £4.95 billion, but suffering a 19% fall from the previous year's restated £6.2 billion, in part due to a costly trading blunder in the US. Fourth quarter attributable profit was £1.04 billion, above analyst projections of £833.29 million, but down 4% from the £1.08 billion posted in the fourth quarter of 2021. Cisco announced fiscal second quarter results that topped Wall Street expectations. Cisco's total revenue grew 7% year over year in the quarter, which ended January 28th. Net income decreased about 7% to $2.77 billion. The company called for fiscal third adjusted earnings of 96 cents to 98 cents per share and 11% to 13% revenue growth. Roblox reported fourth quarter earnings that beat analysts' expectations on top and bottom lines. The revenue figure is what Roblox calls bookings, which include sales recognized during the quarter and deferred revenue. Bookings rose by 17% year over year to $899.4 million. Heineken reported a higher than expected 2022 profit on the back of a recovery in beer drinking to pre-pandemic levels. The company said operating profit would grow, but at a slower mid to high single-digit percentage rate in 2023, reflecting continued cost savings, a challenging economy, and lower consumer confidence in some markets. Heineken said its operating profit before one-offs rose by 24% to 4.50 billion euros in 2022, compared with an average forecast of 4.43 billion. In our research section, Phillip Security research analyst Terence Chua maintains a buy on BRC Asia with a target price of 2.14 Singapore dollars. It was last done at 1.84 Singapore dollars. For Silver Lake Axis, Phillip Security research analyst Glenn Thum maintains a buy with a target price of 0.49 Singapore dollars. It was last done at 0.36 Singapore dollars. For Netlink NBN Trust, Phillip Security's head of research Paul Chu maintains a neutral recommendation with a target price of 0.85 Singapore dollars. It was last done at 0.89 Singapore dollars. For PayPal Holdings, Phillip Security research analyst Umbra Shah maintains a buy recommendation with the target price of $103 US. That's all for today. For financial news, tune in weekdays at 8:30 a.m. live on YouTube and Facebook. Please like and subscribe for more. See you again and have a great day.